Welcome to Wisdom Keys, and I am Brother Francis. Today is Thursday, March the 3rd, 2020. It's a pretty nice day out. I think it's about 67 degrees out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Well, I'm here on Resonant Essentials, the group page, and it's approximately 1:01 p.m. Today's topic that I have for you is fear will keep us mentally in prison. Fear will keep us mentally in prison, but the power of self-love will always free our mind. That's right, the power of self-love. So, as we begin to go through this, and before I get started, I just want to thank all of you for coming on and joining me. I'll be looking at your comments here as they roll in the door here on Facebook. I hope to see some of you on here, maybe some of the regulars and some new people as well. Well, I'm Brother Francis, and I'm affiliated with Resonant Essentials. I've been involved as a spiritual counselor in my life for over 40 years. In fact, it'll be close to 50 or 48 coming up this year during the summer. I enjoy assisting other people, and many people like yourself, in finding more clarity in your life and help you to rediscover your purpose. Now, purpose changes throughout our lives. When we are younger, like think about back in your teens, what was your purpose? Your purpose was just hanging with your friends, sleeping in as a teenager, sleeping over with your friends, going out having a good time, meeting new people. Then that purpose changed, right? And if you had to go to work, then you picked up co-workers, and your whole thing was to do a good job, right? So that you can go up and get promotions. Those of us that went off to college, that was a whole new experience to itself. And the purpose was, getting good grades, having fun, meeting people, acquiring new friends, and then moving on. And especially accelerating in whatever your major was so you can graduate. Then you step out into the world, as we say, the real world, right? Because you're not on a dorm campus in a dorm. You're not, off somewhere. Now you're mixing and mingling with the public on a regular basis. And as time goes on, your purpose keeps changing. You keep looking out for things that will enhance you in some way. Many of us go through a lot of journeys. I went through a lot of religious, then spiritual journeys. Religious journeys in my earlier life, because I came from parents who on both sides, they were neighbors. They grew up in Thomasville, Georgia, but they also had ministers on both sides of the family. And then through my older brother, I became another type of minister. And then I dropped out of that because I just really wanted to have a better understanding of who I was and not follow what we call religious doctrine or dogma. So I began to delve into some of the things that caught my attention while I was in college. So I started pursuing Tai Chi, learning about Taoism, Buddhism, Zen, Confucianism. I started going in a lot of different directions, and I was looking to change. I was wanting to find, what was my real purpose for being here or doing what I'm doing. And along the years, I, got into metaphysics, basically, informally, I would say, and spirituality and psychic development, and so on and so forth. And so having all of this experience, and not saying I'm perfect, I'm not a master at all, I'm learning just like everybody else is, I do have this desire to help others get clear with themselves so that they could find out what their purpose is. And even if you know what the purpose is, how to make it clearer for you to understand what it is. So today's topic is very important. We have a lot of things going on in the world, such as the news. We get bombarded with the news all the time. And when you watch news often or too often, you get bombarded with fear. That's what happens. You get sidetracked and you get soaked. Your mind gets soaked up with fear. Just recently, we're just slightly maybe coming out of this pandemic. That was a whole lot of fear in 2020, right? When the country shut down because all this was going on. We were seeing close friends, relatives, elders, co-workers transition. Then you saw about it in the news and how it spread throughout the world, affecting millions of people. Then the onslaught of politics at the same time going on, and the things that happened, right, just about a year ago, from January of this year, that put something. And then before that, the police shootings and things going on, just so much in the news that was bombarding our consciousness. Our personalities were shifting. We had to be indoors and for the most part be as safe as possible with yourself, whether it's pandemic or other things going on in the surrounding cities and towns. Now you have a war going on over there in Europe. That's bombarding our psyche. That's upsetting our system as well. And more fear sinks in. And many people over here around the world have relatives that live there. So we get hit with fear all the time. Fear from war, fear from poverty, illness. You see racism, which creates more division, drugs, alcohol. All these things work on us. And we start to crumble because fear is shadowing us. Fear is all over us. And sometimes, if you're not strong enough for yourself and strong enough for family, or even for your close, immediate friends who feel like family to you, it appears to be that everything is falling apart. So sometimes, yes, we have the media, we have the internet, but let's not watch it too much. But also, if you're into prayer work, keep your prayers going out there locally, nationally, and globally. Now, we all have some level of fear within that strangles us. People in general, we experience it. How many of you have come across friends who may have difficulties with not only family members but other people, and you find that fear, whether it's coming from yourself or others, manipulates you. That's right, fear manipulates you, changes your thought patterns, and changes how you perceive things. And it also changes you emotionally. And too much fear coming through you can create illness. So it's very important to work on yourself every day. It's very important to develop self-control, not control of others, because we can't control with everything else with other people too much, but you can control how you're going to respond to what the words that you hear and the actions and the thoughts and so on and so forth. We all need self-control. We all need it. Whether you're changing how you eat, to how you exercise, whether you get enough sleep, we're all changing. And we all need this thing called self-control or discipline. We need to discipline the mind and discipline the body. And then, of course, we discipline ourselves and we create different ways to interact with other people in our life. You have to be careful of the kinds of people you choose or attract into your life. If you work on yourself you stand having a better opportunity to attract positive people and, of course, positive experiences. But you still have to work on yourself. You can't be laid back. And look, I'm a laid back guy, so I know. You can't be too laid back, right? You have to allow yourself time to really scrutinize yourself. See what it is that you're really doing or saying. One of the main ideas here is that you want to learn or remember, if you already know how to do it, to activate self-love. That's right, activate self-love for yourself. And that is the key. And as a key, self-love will release you from mental prison that has been created around us and within us. The mental prisons we see, not just the physical prison that holds the criminals or people that do inappropriate things, but the prison is up here. Some of those things that create the prison in the mind, they become like the walls and the obstacles. Not only fear, but there's doubt. You can doubt yourself. There's illusions. There's seeing something that's not really there. There's anger. Someone may say something to you and get you angry, but you might say something repeatedly and anger yourself or get mad with yourself. There's depression. I understood from a friend long ago, it said depression is anger turned within. So, if you don't control yourself and how you're going to respond, you will not explode, but you can also implode, blow up on the inside. When you do that, that's when you get ulcers. And you get other things breaking down in your system health-wise. There's manipulation. That's another wall connected to fear and connected to the prisons in our mind. Self-hatred, addictions, and so much more that happens, and we don't realize that we can become addicted to watching TV, watching certain kind of shows, certain kind of movies. You know, sometimes we got to use moderation. I'm a big lover of sports, but I do it in moderation. Sometimes I'll watch professional baseball, sometimes I'll watch college. So I'll watch a professional sport, but I get just as much enjoyment out of watching college students because there's no dollar signs hanging in the air around them. But you do whatever you need to do to kind of break up the mediocrity or mediocrity around yourself, right? You don't want to have this same thing going over and over and over and over, you know. You don't want to bore yourself, so you're always looking for something to do. Well, self-study is one of the things to do. Pick up books. You know, I got hundreds and thousands of books here, and half of them, more than half of them, I haven't read. So I got my work cut out for me. Reading helps relax the mind. Reading expands the concepts of things that you think about and feeds you new information, as well as enliven the information you already know. So reading is a good aid. Exercise is a good aid. Change the way you eat, all these things. But sometimes we just have to sit down and be quiet and really investigate ourselves. Not just study, you know, we can't sit back and observe yourself all the time, but it is good to take a good, stern look at ourselves and find out what things are we constantly responding to that we don't need to respond to. And so this key element called self-love. If we can go inside and activate it, we will change the way that we think, change our behavior. We'll change how we act toward other people, how we react toward other people. Self-love is important, and we need to develop it because we will empower ourselves from a day-to-day basis. We will improve our well-being. We can activate ourselves simply by stating that we are unconditional love, that we are compassion, and that we're the spirit of grace itself. And knowing this, these things will rise up within ourselves, in our hearts, in our minds, and burn bright within our souls. When we start utilizing self-love and activate those other principles that come along with it, we actually free up ourselves. We don't become so heavy, and we don't become downtrodden. We don't have burdens that we're carrying on our backs. We don't feel like we're chained to something. But at the same time, if you activate self-love to free your own mind, you have to display it. Now, that doesn't mean going around and brag about that you have it. You have to put it in motion with yourself. You have to practice with yourself and apply it. That's a better way to say it. Practice with yourself and apply it. And the more that you apply and display it, the better for you, but the betterment for everyone else that you are interacting with. Because you have to be present. You have to be in the present moment. You can't live in the past. You can't worry about things that didn't work out. You can only activate in the present moment and then work from that present moment forward in your life. And that does take discipline. And if you utilize it, that self-discipline, you won't miss the mark. See, the more we begin to love ourselves, the more patience we develop with ourselves. But we develop patience with other people too. And you start developing more tolerance. You always hear the phrase, think smart, don't work hard. Well, be present. Don't worry about being a perfectionist. But be present. Be in the now moment. When you live in the now moment, you will find out just how easy it gets. At first, you might be climbing uphill, and your hill could be steep. And you might feel like you're losing your footing and losing your grip. And you might fall back a little bit, slide down the hill. But there's no shame in getting back up and trying again. There's no shame in allowing yourself the golden and silver opportunity to be better, to speak better, to do better. And not only will you do better, but your actions will impact others. Close friends, family members, co-workers, neighbors, and beyond there. Do you know, like when you smile, you leave your home and you put a smile on your face, how important that smile is to someone else who can't? We have to give a little more. We have to become like the angels in our own lives and begin to share the wisdom that we have accumulated. Now, we got wisdom here, but as my elders would say, use some mother wit. What does that mean? Use that innate, common wisdom that you were born with. that you could share with others. See, those cliche phrases, I need to sit down and break bread with a friend. Well, you just need to simply be a friend. Not everybody needs a teacher, but everybody could use a friend. See, we all struggle with fear in our lives. From the time we arrive down the birth canal into the doctors and nurses' hands, and then they hand us over to the mother. And then eventually your father gets to see you. And if you have any siblings that you chose in this soul journey, you'll get to see them too. And just about everybody else on your path. You might think that the whole world around you is just like a tune, R&B tune that was done in the 60s. And some of the wording was like this: the whole world is a stage, and everybody is playing their part. If you can find that tune and listen to it, very symbolic of what I'm talking about, of what we experience. So what we need to do, we need to come together within ourselves and begin to pay attention. Now, I want to mention something here that came to mind when I was putting my notes together. If we could work on ourselves continuously, every day, diligently, discipline ourselves to do it every day, there's something called the 100th monkey effect. And it was a concept by Ken Keyes Jr., an American author, who wrote a book long time ago, back in the 80s, or maybe in the late 70s. And his book was called Handbook to Higher Consciousness. It was a book that I remember reading long ago. It was a very popular book. And in that book, he mentioned the 100th monkey effect. And then he wrote a little book on it too. This was a concept based on the behavioral patterns created when one animal in particular, being a monkey, did something different from the rest of its species. And the rest of its species would be observing it in their little cluster in the trees. The monkey is very intelligent, just like many other animals. The monkey figured out how to get fruit out of a tree. Some monkeys figured out how to create quote-unquote weapon, how to strip leaves off a tree limb and use it to defend themselves with or to play with. The more monkeys that observed the behavior of one monkey, they began to follow. And the next thing you know, the energy was vibrating throughout their habitat, where other of their kind would pick up on it miles away. The same thing happens with us. If someone is thinking and acting negatively and they influence people to be that way, those people will in droves pick up on the habit. But imagine if we could sit down and discover inside that we have this element called self-love, and we begin to love ourselves, honor and respect ourselves, and display that energy at the same time, where others who are observing you will feel the energy, feel the spirit that's moving through you, and they will get the idea to do the same. And those who are in their homes, who don't even go outside, will feel that vibration from that thought and start doing it for themselves. It's amazing how we let fear override our minds, our body, our ideas, our environment, and the people that are close to us. And we don't realize that self-love is the main key that will bring forth the spirit of compassion, tolerance, understanding, greater knowledge from within and without, and cause us to reach across with our hands and assist others in doing the same. This is an amazing time still for us. We can change our lives. Now, what I would like to do before I close this out is I would like to engage you, if you like, in a very short meditation. Many of you may not know or do know that out here at Resonant Essentials I teach meditation, creative path work meditations. They're guided meditations, but they're designed to guide you toward your higher self. So let's take a moment. I want you to go within yourself, pull up a memory of seeing a reflection of yourself. The kind of reflection like when you're looking at a mirror. You know how you're getting dressed to go out. You make sure your hair is looking nice. Make sure your face is the way you want it. You check your body posture. All those things. I want you to dress yourself with self-love. But just before you do that, I want you to pick some part of your life. And it could be something that's going on right now that you're not comfortable with. And as you do that, I want you to think about what that element feels like right now to you. It could be something that's really troubling you or something that you seem to stumble or trip over. So just take a moment. It only takes a few seconds to relax yourself and let that memory come into play. In the meantime, I want you to breathe deeply, evenly, and gently. Relax your neck and shoulders and face muscles. And this element that represents some kind of fear. You remember not too long ago I said the late Jose Silva, a gentleman out of Laredo, Texas, created a system of meditation and psychic development on his own. And it was named after him, the Silva Mind Method. And he said fear, in the way that he used it, was an acronym for false expectations appearing real. So sometimes we worry about something that hasn't happened yet, but we like to overanalyze. And if we do that, that creates a mental prison. So we're going to change that. We're going to change that image. And I want you to think of just one image that every time a negative thought or incorrect thought pops up, that image that you can create could be something like embracing yourself and doing that and saying, stop, relax, I love myself. Or anything you would like to create. Or you might see an image of a light switch and you flick the switch down to shut off the fear and flick another one up to cut on the current of self-love. Take your time and breathe on that. Whatever comes to mind, that will immediately shut off fear and immediately bless yourself with self-love. Why? Because the power of self-love can free your mind. And that's my topic for today. I have a couple of announcements for all of you. And especially if you're living here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Well, first of all, I want to state thank you for tuning in to my program today. Tomorrow at 12 noon, every Friday, there is Swanda, and that's by Michelle Vidal. She's on the Resident Essentials YouTube channel at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. All you have to do is refer in the Resident Essentials, the group page, and she leaves the link so you can click right in and go directly to her YouTube channel and watch her live. Saturday, March the 5th, just about every Saturday, and I'm going to say every Saturday, I'm there from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. offering my creative pathwork meditation series. It's the way I use what I call some of the keys and gems of guided meditations that can help lead you onto the path to eventually connect with your higher self. Those classes are just $10 per class, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., and I'm your teacher, Brother Francis. Well, this Sunday at 3904 Central Avenue Southeast, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., go over to Cafe Zen. Cafe Zen, Z-I-N, owned by a lady by the name of Tara Smith. She has a beautiful place there. You can get coffee and tea, and you can check out her crystals and stones, and I think she has some candles. But from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. will be a mini psychic fair there with Michelle Vidal of Resonant Essentials, along with Rosemary Navarra, also of Resonant Essentials. They'll be there doing some readings, tarot readings, spiritual counseling, psychic direct readings, and I believe it's $25 for 25 minutes, and after there you just add on $1 per minute. That's 3904 Central Avenue Southeast, Cafe Zen. And it's between Elysia and Morning Star. And it will be on the south side of Central Avenue while you're heading east on Central Avenue. All right, so that's a gorgeous event. And there's some other people there. I believe there will be some other vendors in there. Maybe someone doing Reiki, someone maybe doing a little lightweight massage in there. Someone will be selling some products. But be sure to get in there, okay? Now, here's something else you want to know. A week from the 6th, which is Sunday, March the 13th, come on down to Resident Essentials from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. and you're going to get an opportunity to get readings, direct readings, Soma Pi healing, PAT reading techniques, PAT, transmosis healing, tarot card readings, people that can connect through mediumship, people that are giving spiritual counseling. I'll be in there as well. We're going to have Susan Zumo. She does Soma Pi healings and the PAT readings. There'll be Michelle Vidal doing her readings and spiritual counseling. She's got some great gifts in terms of offering you and helping you. There's Rosie Navarra. She's excellent too, and she'll be reading with cards. There's who else? Donna of Dominion Tarot will be doing tarot cards there, and there'll be a host of other people. I'll be in there myself. Also, we have Tracy Whitted doing transmosis healing, and if you come see me, I'm giving my celestial I am portraits. I do them with colored pencils. It takes about 30 minutes. It costs about $30, and you get a reading with it. And the general readings and healings there are for $20 for 20 minutes or $1 a minute. So be sure to come on down and get yourself in there and meet us. We'd like to see you. We'll be there from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Resonant Essentials, located at 3107 Eubank Boulevard, northeast, just north of the intersection of Candelaria Boulevard Northeast and Eubank Boulevard, inside of the Scottsdale Shopping Center. And just look for the green building there. You drive right past that little place called Nashville Chicken, open little parking lot, and the first building on your left, the green building, and that's Resident Essentials. Plenty of parking. And guess what? Go through door number 34. So we're looking forward to see you at all these events. Be sure to check in here on Resident Essentials, the group page, for all other things that are going, like Spirit Circle every second and fourth Saturday. And Donna of Dominion Tarot conducts that. That's from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. There's so many other things that are going on. These class fees are minimal fees, and you would want to participate and get this information that we're sharing and offering with you. So, thank you for joining me. I think I'm going to take a break. I'll be back next Thursday at 12 p.m. 1 p.m. Everybody else is 12 p.m. Donna of Dominion Tarot's on Wednesdays with walk-in tarot readings, and she gives an excellent little speaking subject matter. She does that on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Of course, on Fridays is Swanda with Michelle Vidal, 12 p.m. I'm a lazy guy. I come on at 1 p.m. on Thursdays here at Resident Essentials page, the group, with Wisdom Keys. So have a glorious rest of your day, a wonderful tomorrow, an excellent Saturday, and a divine Sunday. Until next time, my grace is your grace. Remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance.